If you've been out to the Groves in recent weeks or months, you probably recognize that there are a lot of things that are taking place. There's a lot of activity with new businesses, new homes popping up, and it's just a great time to be a part of what God's doing here. But if you look around, you'll notice that Ashlar has recently gone over 1,000 home sites that they have built homes here in this neighborhood. They've announced at the end of the year, in the first part of 2021, that HEB had bought the 12-acre site across the street from our property, and they'll begin developing that sometime in the next year. There's a new middle school that Humble ISD is building on Woodland Hills about a mile south of our property. And so everywhere you look, you see so many things happening and so many people moving into this neighborhood, which just reminds us again that God strategically lined us up to be in a perfect place to build a future home of Westlake Church. I know it's been a few months since we've shared anything with you, and so I wanted to take a few minutes today before we break for the summer just to share about what's happening with our land over in the Groves and with our Believe campaign. Because of your generosity, we have already received to date 70% of the pledge amount of the $610,000 that was pledged to help us purchase the land. Considering everything that we've gone through in this past year with the pandemic, I'm so thankful and I'm so proud of you for staying faithful, staying committed, and being just so generous. Because of that, we're on track to finish this first 2 years of our pledge in really great shape. What has to happen over the next 10 months, though, is we need to continue to collect the $185,000 that's outstanding on the initial pledge, so that will help us gauge where we are and really help us plan out what those next steps are as we prepare to build that future home for Westlake Church. We'll be spending some time over the next 6 months with our architects working through a master planning process so we can make sure that all the things that we see and envision and believe God's calling us to do on that land, that we can make that happen. We'll also be taking trips around the country to visit some other sites and some other churches that are similar to Westlake Church, or some other facilities that we believe will be a great tool for us to reach our community. So I just want to ask you to pray for us, pray for the leadership, the elders, our staff, our ministry team. Pray for us as we continue to seek God's plan of how we develop this property. If you're new to Westlake, this may be actually one of the first times that you're hearing about the Believe campaign. You may know that we purchased land, but you may not know of all the details. And so I want to ask you today, maybe a couple simple things to do. Maybe consider partnering with us in this next 10 months as we wrap up phase 1. Pray about how you can partner and maybe what God's calling you to give, but also to be praying about, if Westlake is your home, praying for us as we take some strategic next steps. Again, I can't thank you all enough for all that you're doing, all that you've done. It's been probably one of the most challenging and extreme years of ministry that we've ever faced, but through God's goodness and your faithfulness, we're moving ahead. We're excited about this. We believe this next fall, as we entered into year 5 as a church, this is going to be some of the most fruitful ministry and seasons of ministry that Westlake Church has ever had. And so I want to encourage you to be praying, to continue to do your part to give, to serve, and to be faithful, and let's continue to reach as many people as possible.